and we're joined in the studio by Alison Teal and Paul Brooke from Sheffield Tree Action Groups. Welcome both.
Thank you.
Afternoon.
Thanks very much for coming in. So can you tell us first, what is Sheffield Tree Action Groups and how did the group come into being?
Yes, Sheffield Tree Action Groups is basically an association of a series of local neighbourhood groups. So, for example, I'm a part of Save Nether Edge Trees group, and then we have a representative from Save Nether Edge Trees group who actually attends STAG meetings. So, STAG is a Sheffield Tree Action Group is a big umbrella group of a collection of smaller groups that aims to represent us in the media and that sort of thing.
Great. And can I ask you, Paul, why did you become involved with STAG?
Why did I get involved? I got involved really through my local group and Save Gleadless Valley Trees, partly in response to the arrests, the kind of nighttime arrests and actions we saw on Rustlings Road, and really also when I started to find out what the plans were for trees around Mearsbrook Park.
Yeah. I was going to ask, in case anyone's been on the moon or somewhere, can you give us a brief outline of what's happened so far?
Well, in terms of the history, STAG came into being because of a couple of things. There's the Save Rustlings Road Trees group. They were very active members of the community there on Rustlings Road. And prior to that, Dave Dillner had been involved in petitioning to save the trees in Healy. There was going to be a bus lane which was going to take out a lot of trees, and he did a lot of work in protecting those trees. And so those two groups came together and ended up creating STAG. And STAG came into being in around about August 2015. And there's been more and more groups adding to that umbrella organisation since then, and continuing to get new groups as well.
Yeah, great. So can you explain, Paul, how Amy's involved in all of this?
Well, Amy is the contractor that the council has signed, or an arrangement of a private finance initiative, a PFI, to carry out £2 billion worth of street highways and paving work across Sheffield, and that's a 25-year contract that has an initial 5-year, what they call core investment period, where most of the initial replacement of roads and pavements is due to take place. So that's kind of what Amy are in terms of what they do, which is highway improvements. As part of that contract, they have the contract responsibility to maintain Sheffield's trees. And one of the great difficulties in the process of that is decisions are being made about trees that are based on the needs of the highway, not based on the needs of trees, not as part of any kind of strategy for trees, but simply because the trees are an inconvenience to the repairing of the highway.
Yeah, because I was going to ask, on what grounds have the trees that have been felled so far, what reasons have been given for that?
Well, there's the 6 Ds that probably listeners have heard of. So trees are classified as either dead, diseased, dying, dangerous, damaging or discriminatory. Most of the trees that are being felled are probably falling into the damaging and discriminatory category. Yeah. Do you want to say a bit about that research?
Yeah, I mean, when the council was preparing to sign the contract, the PFI contract, there was a tree survey done. That was carried out 2006, 2007. The expert that they employed advised the council that they considered, looking at the tree stock, that about 1,000 trees would need to be replaced because they were ones that were dead, diseased, dangerous, because there'd been a lack of maintenance of street trees. No, we accept that. His professional recommendation was around about 1,000 trees would need to go. And back then, that's what most of us in the public thought was going to happen. 1,000, maybe 2,000 trees might need to go. And that kind of made sense. By mid-2015, early into 2016, when 3,500 trees started to go, people really started to wake up and go, there's something amiss here. This isn't dangerous, diseased trees that are going. There are healthy trees going. And to be clear, the vast majority of the trees that are being felled are ones the council themselves have said are healthy. not claimed, but are healthy trees that are going, and they're going specifically in the vast majority of cases because they damage structures, which means the curbstone or the pavement in small ways. All the professional assessments that were carried out at the time and that STAG and others have gained afterwards and tried to get professional expertise on have said there are numerous solutions that could be applied to these trees. And that's one of the great challenges for us in being able to understand how we've gone from 1,000 to 2,000 trees because of poor management in the past to between 6,000 and 10,000 trees over the lifetime of the contract.
Yeah, because there are alternative solutions like flexible paving.
Well, that's right. Yeah, there are 14 alternative engineering strategies listed in the contract, which the independent tree panel have often recommended that the trees can be retained by using these strategies. But the council comes back and, for reasons we don't fully understand, say no. And it seems that the only logical conclusion we can come to is that Amy believe that it's better for them financially to remove those trees rather than have to continue to pay for the cost of maintaining the trees over the 25-year contract.
Yeah, so STAG are protesting against the felling of healthy trees.
Indeed, yes.
What form has that protest taken?
There have been many different things have happened. You probably, listeners might be aware that there's been a lot of petitions that we've had. There have been public lectures. There are a lot of work that happens on social media, sharing information. Professor Ian Rotherham has done a number of public lectures. They've sort of had conference days. There are videos, many things. And there's also the non-violent direct action. Pardon me. Marches, protests. You perhaps remember the Yellow Ribbon event. It was a great idea by Nat Loftus. She got us all to wear yellow ribbons, and we managed to more than surround the town hall. That was a tremendous turnout, a very exciting day, great for the media. So I think we've been quite creative, I think.
Yes, I think so. It's important to understand that the last thing we want to be doing is standing out in the middle of the day when I could be doing something better, standing under a tree in protest mode. That's not what I want to be doing. We've tried continuously to have a reasonable dialogue based on best evidence with our local authority about what's best for our urban trees. This isn't part of any grand strategy to make sure that we've got green trees in. As much as the council likes to say this is about replacing trees and it'll all be better in the future and this is about investing in trees, it isn't. It's about making it cheaper and easier for them to lay new tarmac. If this was about a strategy to make sure that we had a pleasant green city in future, you'd find that we would be a lot more supportive.
Yes. So several people were arrested, including yourselves. On what grounds exactly were you arrested?
We were arrested for essentially inhibiting people from going about their lawful work under the Trade Union Legislation Act, Consolidation Act.
Yep,
Yes.
1992.
Yeah, I got it wrong last time. 1992. And essentially that's so 14 people have been arrested so far, and 14 sets of charges have been dropped. And so the CPS, the Crown Prosecution Service, have decided that it's not in the public interest overall to pursue the matter in the criminal court.
Well, Dr. Alan Billings has just recently communicated with a number of people and has been interviewed recently saying that and making that clear that in discussions with the South Yorkshire Police, it shouldn't be what they're doing. Crown Prosecution Service won't take the arrests ahead. It is important to note that of the nine of us that were arrested on Chippinghouse Road, the Crown Prosecution Service didn't discontinue our cases because it wasn't in the public interest, as Dr. Alan Billings has said. They actually discontinued our case for lack of evidence.
Yes.
Now, it's a little extraordinary that there was lack of evidence because there's plenty of film and photographs of the seven of us sitting under a tree, stopping work from taking place. So our view is there was lack of evidence of a crime. And why we were arrested when there's no evidence that a crime was taking place really has to be answered
Yeah, and you were literally just under a tree. That was what
Yes,
you were doing
we're just
at the
sitting
time.
under a tree. Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
really strange. So, what is the current situation regarding the arrests?
What we're doing as a group is we're looking at different options, but currently you're perhaps familiar with barrister Paul Powlesland, who wrote an opinion to the police, South Yorkshire Police, and that his opinion about the arrests that they were making and the fact that they were probably unlawful was what has prevented trees being felled, certainly in Nether Edge for the time being, and means that they won't be arresting any more protesters under that law. He is supporting us in looking at essentially making a police complaint. And I don't know whether it's appropriate to say much more about that. Would you like to add to it, Paul, or that's what we're still looking at it?
I think one of the reasons for that is that on Chipping House Road in particular, we tried to prevent fellings. We were told by South Yorkshire Police that if we didn't move, we would be arrested under Section 241 of the Trade Union Act. We said we didn't think that applied and it wasn't a crime, and we were told it'll be tested in court.
Yes.
Now, on a number of occasions, we all moved away following that, and people didn't stay under the tree. On the tree that we got arrested under at that time, I was stood looking at a magnificent horse chestnut, talking to someone whose children had collected conkers off it for years, talking to a lady who remembers collecting conkers from that tree years ago. I spoke to the arborist there, who confirmed to me it was a perfectly healthy tree. The council said it was a perfectly healthy tree, and it moved the curbstone by 2 centimetres. I stood there on that sunny day and said, I either walk away and watch them cut it down, or I stand up for what I believe in. I have no problem with them felling dead, diseased, dying trees. That tree was a disgrace that they felled it, for no good reason.
So can you tell us how things stand currently regarding the tree felling programme?
Well, I think the way things stand at the moment is the council and Amy say they're going to continue with their tree felling programme without change. They've not amended any of the plans to fell trees. There's still a number of trees where we are awaiting the outcome of what's known as the independent tree panel. So this was something the council set up to try and take a second look at whether the tree should or shouldn't be felled. We're not aware of where the council or Amy have changed its plans because of the recommendations of the ITP. And the ITP has on numerous occasions said to the council there's a solution. So great example is the 150-year-old oak tree, the Vernon oak, one of the old boundary trees of Sheffield. All the information says there's a solution to save this tree. It doesn't need to be felled, and the council are still planning to fell it. How they're going to fell it, well, that's another matter, because unfortunately they're going to find quite a lot of people standing underneath it and holding hands and singing alongside it. So it's not going anywhere for the time being.
Particularly as that law can no longer be used to...
We'll wait and see what they do. I mean, the council might use what it refers to as civil actions. So, we might see, Beryl at number 72 being sued as a pensioner for preventing Amy from carrying out their works, and I'll be at the magistrate's court laughing at that one.
Can I ask you, Alison, what do you feel will be the best possible outcome at this stage? We've lost a lot of trees, unfortunately, but it's currently suspended.
It was not exactly suspended. They are still felling trees in different parts of the city and sometimes we've been, various campaigners have been able to get to those areas. But if residents don't notify us that there's felling taking place, then obviously there's nothing we can do to try and help stop it. I'm hoping that what we'll be able to negotiate ultimately will be for the council and Amy to accept the use of alternative engineering strategies, that we will retain all the trees that are healthy, that they will allow for, perhaps slightly bowed curbs here and there, just being sensible, just retaining the healthy trees for all the incredible number of environmental amenities and benefits that we get from them. We don't need to cut them down. We have alternative solutions, and that's what I want to see happen, that ultimately that's what we'll be doing. We'll be using those alternative engineering strategies.
Yeah, So the tree felling programme has attracted a lot of attention in Sheffield. Has it been quite well known outside of Sheffield?
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, certainly throughout the UK we receive queries, messages of support, also supporting crowdfunding for the legal actions and things that we've had. That's come from far and wide. We've had messages of support from Taiwan, Australia, USA, Saigon. Yeah, so people are hearing about it all across the world now. I think probably to do with BBC reporting and also The Guardian reporting as well. So we've been in the national media, and that's obviously spilled into much a wider sphere, and of course through social media things are more likely to spread internationally as well. So it's been very, very well supported.
I was going to ask you, how do you feel the media campaign has been regarding the trees?
It's always difficult, whilst talking to the media, I wouldn't want to criticise the media. It's very difficult. Partly we're in a day and age now where it's instant media and lots of things online, and the pace of things happen. But we're really disappointed at times that it gets oversimplified, and the kind of spin and sound bites that the council puts out seem to get accepted and not really challenged. And you'd kind of want some journalistic endeavour to find out a bit more about the truth. Let me just give you a really, really quick example, if that's okay. In the Star article today about Dr. Alan Billings saying that there wouldn't be any further arrests, the article ends by saying campaigners claim that the council are felling healthy trees. Well, just that word, campaigners claim. We don't claim it. The council tell us they're felling healthy trees. It's a fact. It then goes on to say the council says it's felling diseased, damaged and dangerous trees. That's not a fact. The council says it's felling healthy trees. It doesn't like to say that. So one would expect media to go, why are you lying to us? Why are you putting out statements that are deliberately false? That's what I'd like the media to do.
We'd like them to challenge them.
The council's recently said that it costs more to cut a tree down and replace it than it does to keep it there and look after it. Why isn't the media saying, dear council, why are you wasting our money cutting down trees we want to keep if it costs you more? Be clear with what's tied up in that contract. I mean, I'm not one of these people that subscribes to the kind of conspiracy theory and it's all about backhanders and people in the council taking money and all of that kind of stuff. No, I think actually they've just been incompetent. They've made a mistake. They've signed a contract that's resulting in trees being felled that they hadn't planned. And they don't have the courage to come out to us and talk to us as a public and be honest about it. So they're spinning themselves into a corner.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned social media. That's played quite a role in the campaign. In what ways do you think it's helped or hindered?
Oh, I think it's been really helpful because it's spread the word and so many more people know about it now. Say after Rustlings Road, before Rustlings Road there were about 2,000 odd members on STAG Facebook page, and after Rustlings Road there were over 4,000 members there, and so it's just ever growing and allows people to get connected better, I think. So, for example, if you were living in an area and you weren't sure about if you had a local group or not, you can get onto social media and ask those questions, and usually there'll be someone pick up on the comment and answer it and get you actually connected physically with people, not just through cyberspace, but actually allow you to go and meet up with people who are interested as well. And so it's sort of growing a movement. It's been really effective.
Yeah, brilliant. So how can people find out more about STAG? Well,
there's, I suppose, two simple ways, or three ways. You can go to the website, which is savesheffieldtrees.org.uk. Look on Facebook. The particular page you want to look for is titled STAG, Sheffield Tree Action Groups. From there, you'll find a wealth of information. Doing it. You'll find people all over the city in small groups meeting, talking about the trees in their area and the trees across the city. So, make a little effort to try and find out some information. There's a lot of information out there.
Yeah. Start out by searching for your suburb. So, save burn grieve trees or whatever it is you're trying to find, and you may well find that there's already a Facebook page and a group dedicated to looking out for the trees in your area.
great. And STAG just seem to be getting stronger and stronger.
Indeed, we do. Yes.
Yeah, more than 6,500, I think, or 6,300 members on the Facebook page alone, and that's not everybody that's involved in it. It is growing, and it's really wrong to say we're a minority or a few. It's not. And it's a lot of people.
And it's really wrong